Okay. Are we recording? We are recording. Yes, great. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second of our tips, truly inspirational people. And before I introduce you to our amazing interviewee today, I just wanted to have a bit of a catch up, see how you're doing. It's Friday feeling. It's the weekend here. Hope you've got really great plans and that you're not going to be working too hard this weekend, because I know as therapists, we tend to work into the weekend. I just wanted to share a bit with you about last night. We had an amazing night last night because we were at an awards ceremony, and this awards ceremony it's facilitated. Well, it's put on by the Nottingham Post, and it was specifically for women in business. And I was up for an award, and really exciting. It was an amazing feeling and experience. I had my mother there. I had another wonderful lady and therapist who also works in Tri-Dosha. Alana was there as well. And we were seated on this great table with 4 other finalists in the award. So there was a real buzz going around. And I didn't win in my category, but I'm truly, truly honoured to have been a finalist, and also for an awards ceremony that there is actually highlighting the work of women in business. So I just wanted to share that with you. And now I'm going to introduce our interviewee for today. Now, this lady is a lady that I met when I gave my TED talk, and wow, now her TED talk, very, very powerful. I feel, here we are. Everyone in this Facebook group has something in common. We are therapists, we are practitioners, we are wellness professionals, and we work from our heart. And so in that sense, it would be quite unusual to think that there is a world out there where people don't work from a place of love, of kindness, and compassion. But actually, the lady I'm about to introduce you to is going to share with you just how for 20 years of her life, this was the case for her. And she's gone on this incredible journey. She has a very, very powerful story to share with you. And she is now a coach. She actually coaches a variety of individuals. Her company is called Revitalize Coaching. I love that word. I love that name. And let us welcome Jenny Thomas. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, and thank you very much for having me.
That's right.
First of all, many congratulations for last night. What fantastic news.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And an honour to be there, delight to be there. And we had a lot of fun as well. So it was a good excuse to have a good night out.
Great.
Right,
Great.
Jenny. Okay. Well, first of all, if you could tell the group about yourself, your story, and if you could, and then take us up to your days of training as a coach and how that happened. Over to you.
Okay, thanks. So hi everybody, really lovely to meet you all, and thanks again to Sunita for inviting me here. I'm delighted to be a part of the group today. So yeah, as Sunita said, I spent 20 years in the corporate working world in marketing, held a senior marketing role for a number of years. And I'd say probably around 2012, 2013, I started to feel a bit less excited about my job and a bit more disillusioned with where my life was going. Very much just stuck on that treadmill syndrome of, get up, go to work, do a 10-hour day, try and get to the gym, most often not getting to the gym. And dinner, bed, and start all over again. And in 2014, that inner voice that you have just got louder and louder and louder. And I thought, I can't ignore this anymore. I'm becoming unhappy and frustrated, and actually I don't like the person that I am and who I was. So I took a bit of time out. Well, I say a time out, I took a week's holiday.
Okay.
Which I went on an amazing detox retreat in Portugal, actually. It was a juicing retreat, and can you believe at the age of whatever I was then, 37, was my first experience of yoga. And
Wow.
I know, how did I get that far through life without yoga?
Yeah, exactly. It's very normal as well, isn't it? That is what happens.
I know. So, but lucky me, because that week was, you know, it was a bit like a cheesy kind of epiphany in some ways. So I found yoga, discovered yoga, thank goodness. And I had that time and space to realise that my life was nowhere near what I wanted it to be. And just how disconnected from everything I felt disconnected from nature, from the universe, from the people around me, and I felt lonely, isolated, depressed. You know, it was a bit of a sorry time. Anyway, so I took that week, got home, and was kind of, do you know what, I need to do something about this. So ironically, I started to coach myself. I didn't realise that's what I was doing at the time, but I coached myself and just kind of started to explore all the things that I thought made me happy, or that I enjoyed, or that I thought I was good at. But with the absolute underlying knowledge that I was going to be setting up my own business, doing something. But I knew I was going to be working for myself, and I had to leave my career. As fate would have it, and I think the universe was just testing that I really, really wanted it. The following weekend, having made eventually this decision to retrain to become a coach, I was given a huge promotion in my corporate career.
Okay.
I know. Which actually I kind of took as a, well, you know, I'll be learning more about being able to run my own business. I'll be, you know, kind of getting some more cash so I can siphon that off to, you know, help build my background. Fast forward about 6 months into that job, and like many people, I experienced the effects of streamlining within the business, where people were not necessarily being made redundant, but things were being restructured and streamlined, and my workload tripled.
Okay, wow.
And, you know, rather than, I mean, and there are many ways that you can deal with that. I struggled with it, and forward another few months, and I was sat in my doctor's surgery having a full-on panic attack, and had to be taken to hospital. And you know, talk about a wake-up call.
There's one. You're right in front of you.
Right. So I wouldn't recommend anybody does anything as dramatic as that. You know, I just pushed myself too far. And there's a lot more detail and background to how I arrived at that horrendous place. However, whilst it was the worst and most terrifying thing that had happened to me, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I am so grateful that it happened. I really now appreciate what it is to have a true work-life balance. I appreciate what it is to be connected to the universe, to yourself, to be working from a heart-centered space, and to, you know, build my work around things that I'm passionate about and that I care about, and living, I just spend my life in compassion and gratitude, which I definitely wasn't doing in that fast-paced, pressured, you know, rat race.
No. And then you trained, so that led you to train as a coach.
Yes. So in early, about March, April 2016, having already decided to retrain as a coach and as an NLP practitioner, actually, my panic attacks had started to reduce, certainly enough that I felt I could go forward and go out and retrain. And I became an NLP practitioner first, which actually was the best thing I could have done, because it helped me understand the anxiety, understand the panic attacks, why they were happening, and then be able to manage them and overcome them, which was key to then being able to progress in all the other training and studying and qualifications, and being able to set up my own business, which I did back end of 2016, when Revitalised Coaching was born.
Wonderful. And what is the most rewarding part of being a coach for you?
So, somebody asked me this just yesterday, so I'll give you a similar answer because I quite liked it.
Yeah, okay.
It was, in 20 years in marketing, there was a lot of adrenaline. I got quite a buzz out of it. There was a lot of fun as well. But I never, ever, ever had goosebumps about the work that I was doing.
Right. Isn't that interesting?
I never sat back and had the privilege to witness somebody's progression, growth, development, and get goosebumps about it. To be able to work with somebody in a relatively, pretty short period of time, and I work with clients from all kinds of backgrounds, but if I think of an example. So one lady I worked with probably about 3 months ago, she'd literally just been made redundant and was getting to a later stage in her life, and was really, really worried. Had all those kind of limiting beliefs coming up about being too old to to go out and work, and that she wouldn't be taken seriously by perhaps more younger, vibrant companies where she felt actually she was well suited. And within a period of 6 weeks, to work with her and then see her believe that not only was age just completely irrelevant, but actually all her experience was going to enable her to help those people around her and build, a real strong community-based team. And it was just amazing to watch, amazing to see. I loved it. Yeah. So
I love that. I mean, that reminds me, that also connects very much with how we would work as therapists. So we have the opportunity to actually work with an individual, help them to gain greater health, better health, and see that change, and actually how that not only impacts their own life and their own health, but also those around them as well. So there's a beautiful connection and correlation there. And so you've mentioned one area of coaching where you can help. What are some of the other areas of coaching that you what kind of clients walk through the door, and how do you help them?
So a lot of my clients are about that work-life balance, and I think that's where I'm so grateful about that kind of burnout period that I had, because I do instantly empathize on such a deep level on how people feel in terms of pressure, juggling 101 things, the spinning plates, and kind of losing themselves. I know I mentioned to you before, I also run a networking group where I have a lot of holistic therapists come in and network together, which is great. And what I see time and time and time again is, particularly with therapists, is that they give so much. They're just giving, and they're so good at what they do. And yet, there is what's the Buddha saying? You can't drink from an empty cup, right? And so I think a lot of work that I do is around helping people to really, truly find that work-life balance for them, where they're getting the reward and, the goosebumps from working with their clients, but they're also prioritizing their own self-care as well.
Yeah, and that's absolutely, and that's so important. And you're, we as therapists, we give a lot, we look after a lot. We're always thinking of work and serving. We're in service, and over the years of teaching therapists, absolutely, I've seen many therapists burn out as well through this, because it's having that balance and also having the boundaries to know when actually it's your time, and then this is work time, and how do you manage that? So what are some of the things that you would recommend to a therapist? They're putting themselves out there, they are ticking all the boxes with the love, the compassion, the kindness, they're operating from that heart space, but you know, they need to have a balance for their own lives as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, boundary setting, I would say, probably is the most important thing you can do. You know, I'm sure, you know, you're training and learning and teaching how to manage client boundaries, but are you managing your own boundaries with what you give?
Yeah.
Because I know you've got that client with you who you know you can help and you want to help, but it's going to take, you know, twice as much out of you. And what about that client that you really want to help but can't afford to pay you?
Yeah.
You know, there has to be a balance. You know, you have a right to earn a living as well, and you have to put a roof over your head as well as anybody else. So that, I think, that boundary setting piece around your own self is and
I'm hearing it's also the added value of actually of understanding your own value as a therapist, as a wellness professional. That's what I hear in your voice, is understanding that and owning that, so that actually as you market your services, you're much more comfortable with not just what you're charging, but also with the way that you as you move things forward, the time that you potentially spend with a client, you know, all of these things connect into each other. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, you know, I've learned from myself, having set up my own business, and now because I help some of my clients, I help them transition from the corporate space into setting up their own businesses. And when it comes to setting up the new business, it's very much about empowering people to become more self-aware. So I do a lot of personality profiling work. I use a DISC process, and also numerology, which can be fascinating in terms of energy. And did you know that number 6 energy day is the best day to be sending out your newsletters and emails and communications?
Amazing, thank you.
I know, right? So
that's a game changer just there.
Right. It was for me, for sure. And also that self-belief piece. So a lot of what I do, right, I'm a confidence and career coach, right? So a lot of the work I do is around that self-belief, you know, a self-esteem, building that confidence, and just knowing that you already know you're on the right path, right? You've found yourself, your purpose, you know you're there, but it's believing in yourself and believing that you're good enough, and you are. And like you said, that you're charging the right price, and you're comfortable with that, and you know what you're giving, and it's your brand equity. Loads of work around self-belief and validation and self-confidence and all that great stuff.
Brilliant, Jen. Well, look, I know you've got something very exciting to share with our listeners today, so please tell us about that.
So I've literally been thinking about this on and off for a few months, and when you suggested that I come and have a chat with you and meet your group, as it were, online, I thought, you know, this could be the prime opportunity to pose the question. So I'm kind of looking now to your lovely group members for their feedback and input onto an idea that I've had, which is to offer a really cost-effective marketing kind of program specifically designed for heart-centered businesses, so therapists. And this has come about from a place of meeting along my journey loads and loads and loads of therapists, many of whom I work with now, who I know don't have a marketing background. And you know, I also appreciate how important their gifts are and the work that they do, but they don't necessarily have the skill set and the knowledge or the money to invest in somebody, a marketing agency doing it for them, to be able to market themselves properly. And I really, you know, with the other work that I'm doing with the corporate businesses off the back of my TEDx talk now, I'm so compassionate and so passionate about putting more love, kindness, compassion in the workplace. And I fundamentally believe it's going to be through healers. And it's going to be up to the healers to get into that corporate space to help those people. But I also really recognise that having the marketing skill set to promote yourself to do that is, you know, a big ask, on top of everything else that you're learning and doing, because, you know, probably much like myself, you just want to do your job. You don't want to spend 80% of your time and your money on the marketing and the promotion. You just want to do your job, right? So so I'd thought perhaps I would put together, I've already got one online course actually. So, and there's a couple of freebies on there. If people want to check it out, I can post a link to the free stuff later. So they can see kind of my style of coaching, my style of work. But I think I'm thinking in terms of this marketing program, it would be a bit more advisory and a bit more, you know, right, basic steps. Step 1, who's your target market? Step 2, where can they be found? Step 3, how can we talk to them, and put some advice and suggestions in there as well. So yeah, that's my idea.
I think that's an amazing idea. And just, yes, for all of you listening, so that's Jen's offer, and she is more than happy to put a program together for you guys, specifically for the work that you do, a marketing program. It would be an online program, which means she's able to hugely reduce the rates. So really the best thing is if Jen can tell us how you get in contact with her, and then if you can contact her directly, and then she can see what the take up is, and if there's enough people there, then she can put that content together for you. So that's very exciting. Okay, Jen, so how can we contact you?
So like many people, and because I'm a true marketeer, right, I mean, I'm on every platform known to man, really. But the simplest way is probably my email. So it's Jenny, JENNY, at revitalizecoaching.co.uk. My website is revitalizecoaching.co.uk if anyone wants to check it out. But yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. So connect with me in any way, you know, you want to. I'm always around.
Great, that is great. Okay, so we all know how to get in touch with Jen. And also, I just want to say, please check out Jen's TEDx. It is incredible. And the TEDx is called So Putting Emotion Back into Business. And she really, really, really nails it in talking about love, kindness, compassion, and actually how we need to see more of that in the workplace. So Jen, thank you very much. And
thank you.
Have a great weekend. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.